Even though I've survived hundreds of days in hardcore Minecraft and have built some pretty cool things so far, I am still significantly undergeared. I haven't worked out any villager trades besides two, and they live here. Today we're going to fix that by building a French Abbey style library and collecting every enchant I could need to max out my gear. Let's get to it. Alright, I'm really excited for this one because I have never built a true librarian trading hall. At this point, all I really know is that I want to use tough and build in a taiga biome. The rest we can figure out once we get there. This should be plenty to get started. Let's go find a spot in the taiga. Alright, so I've been flying around for a bit and I think I've settled on a spot. I'm really liking the way that this kind of like peninsula looks right over here. I'm going to do some deforestation while I think about what I want to build here, and I'll get back with you. All right, I've had a lot of time to think, as you can tell by the lack of trees, but I've come to the conclusion that I want to make a French Abbey style library that is going to be inspired by this reference photo I found on Google. I think it'll fit really nicely back in this flat area behind the little peninsula. And then I've got the nether portal up there, and I'm thinking that I can maybe wrap a path up and make a retaining wall all the way around this. That way I can have a nice little castle up there for the nether portal too. But yeah, that's the plan. Let's get to laying it out. All right, the first floor is complete, and I think this is coming along great. I really like the gradient I'm using with the dark and highlights. I'm gonna get started on the second floor next. I've really just been focused on following the same outline from the reference photo, and I think we've done a good job. I think this is looking awesome compared to our reference. I also think that the red roof will go great with our tough palette. This gives us the perfect excuse to go find the new sulfur cave for some cinnabar. I used chunk base to find this guy not too far away from the taiga biome, which is nice. While the sulfur cave is really cool, and I'm really glad that they added this biome to the game, I'm not super interested in exploring right now, and I'm sure that most of you have seen the entire biome anyway. I'm just here for the cinnabar, so I'm going to get to work and collecting as much as I can. Alright, this should be more than enough for us to throw the roof on this Abbey. Let's get back to it and get that going. I'm using mostly just the polished cinnabar stairs, but I want to mix in the regular cinnabar stairs to give it kind of a wear and tear look to make the Abbey look a little bit more run down. But yeah, not a whole lot to see here aside from stairs being placed, so I'll get back with you guys once the roof is on and finished. The roof is on, and I'm honestly really happy with how it came out. Cinnabar is like the perfect block for what I was going for. Now then, next up on the list is windows, which I should have a ton of glass for left over from my last build in the end. I really need to make a storage room at some point. In all my builds, I kind of just have these hidden little areas with all of my leftover materials. But that is exactly what we needed. Let's get back over to the Abbey and get this dyed in place. I may have gotten a little bit more carried away than just the windows, but the floor is done and it looks great. All the windows are in, and I'd say we are just about ready to get going on the interior. I've robbed the stronghold of all of its bookshelves, so I think I'm ready to get going. I think my plan is to just kind of start placing them down like this and see how I feel the entire way. I have no plan here, so let's see how it goes. All right, I definitely got carried away without recording, but I think I did a really good job of making this feel like a library that you would walk through kind of in real life. It's got the lecterns, the little table sides that I'm using the scaffolding for. The archways came out nice in here. It's got some desks right there at the entrance that you can see. But yeah, before I start detailing this side, I want to work on this long hall area. And my vision over here is kind of making it a long study hall with a bunch of desks. And I think we're gonna make those desks look just like this. This came out great. The desks really look nice. I like the little chairs that I have behind them too, but next thing that we're gonna do on the agenda is build a nice little catwalk above them all the way around. So let's get on that. The catwalk is complete. I'm just going up here to add some final details with these chains for the lights, but yeah, this came out exactly how I was hoping it would. I also added some fence gates and windows every other table section area so there's a way in and a place to keep mobs out, but the scaffolding came out awesome. I'm loving how this room is looking and how it merges into the main room. I think we're done here for now. We'll circle back on this to detail it. I thought I was going to be making a really cool montage of me building this basement, but I did not hit record. So I'm just going to walk you through quickly. This is where I'm planning on actually putting all of the villagers so that they stay safe and they aren't just wandering around. It's going to take a while to get all the trades, so I want to make sure they're protected, but I love how this came out, and I've got a plan to get them here after I set up a breeder, but we'll get to that later. Okay, I lied. I want one more detail before I move on from the interior. I want to pick up some pale moss to use for carpets all the way around the library, so I'm going to get on that. All right, that side quest was completely worth it. This looks awesome. I think I'm still gonna mess with it in the main room, but this hall looks great. All right, the exterior is definitely overdue on keeping up with the interior, but pretty much what I'm thinking is I want this to have everything that a library would need to make books. I'm gonna have a staircase going down in this area to kind of like up here, and I'd like to put in a sugarcane farm, a small one right there, maybe a cow pen for leather, and then probably a wheat field somewhere to, to breed the cows with, but I haven't really got it all figured out, but I think that's the general design I'm going to go with and put up some retaining walls around the entire outside. So yeah, that was quick for you, not for me, but the bones of the exterior are complete. We got the cow farm, the wheat farm, the dock, the sugarcane, everything that's needed for a library to produce and store books. This front pathway came out super nice, and these mushrooms should spread and grow since they're on podzol, but what I really want to show you is the back of the building. I enclosed the backside with what I tried to make look like hedgerows inspired by Normandy, but I also threw in some of the rocks that you find in the taiga biome while the mushrooms decorate the back and wrap around to this main entrance over here. The front and back look nice, but I really gotta get some work going on this right back side area. I want to make it kind of like a garden behind the library, but I'm not too sure I'm gonna do it here. I think I'm gonna put some walls up and kind of fill it in where I'm digging out right now. With the garden out of the way, the only thing left is the front of the abbey leading up to our castle that is going to hold our nether portal on the top. I think I'm going to take a stab at this all in one go and show you guys the result. complete our Abbey exterior with our nether portal castle, another sugarcane farm, and a little campfire area, the creeper face, which I think is awesome. Goes so nicely with the rest of the Abbey, the other retaining walls that go all the way around to the back. I'm just so happy with how this came out. That being said, the job is not finished. We still have to go and get all of the villagers and find their trades so that we have the perfect librarian trading hall inside this Abbey that looks absolutely stellar behind me. But yeah, that's our final step. Let's get on it. The breeder is built, the villagers are in, and the next step is to build a tunnel all the way to a part of our base where we can roll for enchants. They have to be 150 blocks away to breed on bedrock without breaking any of the trades, so that's why you have to go through this. But I'll see you guys at the other end of the tunnel. We just got our first villager, so I'm going to test to make sure that this tunnel gets him to where he needs to be. Up we go. All right, we are in business. Now, once we lock a trade in with them, all I have to do is push them over here and down this hole. And this stream should take us directly into our villager trading hall. It's as easy as that. Only 19 more villagers to go. And just like that, the French Abbey Librarian Trading Hall is complete. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for sticking around. Check out some of these shots of the final product.